All right, legends, we are live. Let's analyze the situation here for the price of Bitcoin. What a major pump that we did have yesterday. Are we going to go to higher levels, or is this it, guys? And we're going to reverse. Well, we do have some significant liquidity sitting above $83,000, $84,000, all the way up to $85,000. There is quite a bit of liquidity, as you can see here on the chart. So are we just forming a bullish pennant and we're going to smash out here to the upside? We'll be taking a look at the technical analysis, guys, or was this it? And we are just ready to correct down. The level that we did get rejected from was the volume profile here. We do have the naked point of control, right? The highest volume node. This is the level that exactly got the rejection of a couple of $1,000s, right? Nothing too serious, but overall the reaction did happen at this level. You know, it was a possible short sniper, as you do reject from that pivot. Very much acceptable to enter that short position. This is a level that we have been talking about throughout the channel here in the last few days, even yesterday. We talked about many local scenarios that none of them played out. We were looking for a range, a WXY and a triangle, right? Different possibilities that could happen. And the price just shoot up to $83,000, which was the most important level to pay attention. Of course, there was no major short positions beneath this zone. This was the best level to really speculate on that rejection. And that is where we hit, right? The golden pocket from the highs to the lows of the range and the point of control of this area. And this is the exact level that got the resistance, right? Now, the question is, are we just consolidating? This does look like a corrective move and we're going to break out, right? Or attempt to break out at least. Well, that is the question. We'll be taking a look at many scenarios, guys. There is the bearish case, the bullish case, of course, what we need to take into consideration. And that's what we're going to talk about, guys, throughout this live stream. Make sure to destroy the like button if you are new to the channel. Smash it up, guys, and let's analyze the situation here together. I'm just going to say hello to the beautiful community, just checking that I'm live. Yesterday we had some issues with the internet connection. Let me just double check. Everything good, all good over here. Let's go. Let's quickly say hello to the beautiful community, guys. Bitcoin is the top in. Are we going to form a bullish pennant right now, right? A descending wedge, if you wish, right? Is this all of this a descending wedgie structure? And it's trying to maintain here, trying to break out, right? Just a small consolidation correction, or are we just going to break down, right? We do have the possibility of this moving up. You know, I was actually in a long trade setup here with the Legends trading community. Was looking for the price to actually get a bit of a bounce to sweep up the lower highs from this region, but it looks like we are not going to do that as we are moving down ever so slightly here. I mean, the long range is in this zone. This was a breakout strategy, and the whole idea of this breakout is analyzing this move to the downside. It is still possible as long as these lows maintain as higher lows. It is still very much valid, okay? Looking at this to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 move to the downside and a possible ABC flat to sweep up the highs. But we tried today, but we're just ranging. We're still attempting to just, you know, roll, you know, kind of bottom out here. It looks like it wants to, but it is downtrending. It seems like that the correction to the downside, or the impulse, the start of an impulse, is not finished yet. Worst case scenario here is that this is an impulsive move down, and this would be very, very rare to see, okay, because what you have formed is a running flat, and a running flat is very, very rare, and I don't like this high. There's not a clear 5-wave move. But worst case scenario, if we were to collapse down, which I don't think is going to be the case, we're going to manage to move up. We do have a lot of liquidity. So I do think that a squeeze up is definitely a scenario, but this would be a kind of thing, right? You got a 5-wave move down, a running flat. If we were to collapse down from here, I would have to say, well, wow, this was it, right? Very rare, a running flat. We also retraced all the way to the 236 Fibonacci from the C wave, very shallow. It's just low probability, right? But if you were to break down here very aggressively, right, heading down to 80K, 79K, you would just have to come to that conclusion that this was your wave 1, wave 2, and then you're moving down. Very rare to retrace this shallow. You would want to see a little bit more of a pullback to the upside to 50% golden pocket, and then maybe, right, get the leg down here. This is going to be very interesting, guys. There's some possible moves that I want to talk about in this stream. We got inflation rate coming out here in 20 minutes from now. Okay, it is the expectation of the inflation is very low. It's 2.5%. It's currently at 2.8%, and you know, the idea is it's going to be down at 2.5%. I'm not sure. So we're getting that news in the next 20 minutes. Core inflation and inflation rate, and we're going to see some volatility. Okay, now I'm going to be a little bit, there are some levels that could be hit on the volatility, right? We do know that we could create a dump and pump or a pump and dump and pump. You know, you get the deal, right? It just, this volatility can just pump and dump very, very easily throughout the news. Can we trade the news, right? Can we have some levels ready to actually jump in on that news event? I'm not a huge fan of trading the volatility, but there is a setup that I'm, you know, very much interested in here, because you know, it's very much possible that it could happen. Okay, let's see how many likes we do have. We have just under 400 people. Let's smash up that like button. Let's get the people joining in here and destroy the like. I'm just going to quickly say hello to the beautiful community, and we'll dive in straight away, guys, into this consolidation to try and understand if it is corrective. Yesterday, I have to say, guys, yesterday there were many scenarios. The possibility of breaking out here was there. You know, we talked about a possible triangle formation here. We talked about you know, a zigzag formation. You know, the shorts in this range, double top was not really the greatest option. Just realizing that you could push out here in a third wave or in a C wave. And then you know, we did get the tariff news, of course, postponed 90 days. And that just got a massive breakout here. Very explosive. And we got rejection exactly at that weekly naked point of control, or the point of control of the range, if you wish, right? Really technical resistance, rejection at this pivot that played out very nicely, right? So far, so good. We did get a pretty nice pullback of $2,000 from that zone. So, just a few days ago, we did a video update here on the channel, and I don't know, I'm trying to go a little bit straight to the point, and I like to do a little bit of the Picasso drawing here, guys, right? We like to do just, you know, what I would be expecting is something like this. This is on a video that was created 2 days ago. Get the rejection, do not take out the low. We were just a few $100s from taking out that low, around about, yeah, about a few $100s. But form a higher low and come back up to that $83,000, right? All of this drawing, of course, has a technical reason behind it, right? But the drawing is just to like specify it for all of those people that are really not following up the technical analysis. But there was a game idea here from this range. We're going to range from here. We're not going to take out the lows just yet. And if we do come down, I do expect a higher low. And the next possible push up, right? Which it is there. Of course, we talk about many scenarios, but overall, $83,000, form a higher low, and then get that push up there. And eventually, this is where we're getting the resistance. Now, the question is, can we actually roll down from here, right? We got a lot of liquidity at 84, 85K. We are getting the resistance here as you know, the analysis from a few days ago, which is literally, this is the Picasso drawing, guys, right? Where you have this, you have the higher low in this area, and then you move up here to this range. This is when we were trading at this area. So was it a blind guess, right? Was it just, hey, you know, that was just lucky to predict that you're going to move down, form a higher low here, and come back up here to $83,000, right? You know, this drawing right over here eventually is backed up, you know, by technical analysis. And the overall game idea of this is looking for a three-wave structure at the end of the day, right? You're looking for a three-wave move up. All right, so three-wave move up of some kind in this range, and that was basically the whole idea of the Picasso drawing, right? So let's do the technical analysis. Gonna say quickly hello to the community, and then we'll dive in on the potential moves that could be on the formation here, guys. You know, this is the kind of wedgie bullish pennant that I would be extremely cautious I would love to believe that eventually this is an impulse, guys, right? I would love to believe that this is a very strong wave 3, right? We know that wave 3s are usually the strongest impulsive moves, right? Sometimes you can get a wave 1, which is the strongest one. Sometimes the 5th wave, expanding 1s and 5s, which are rare. But in this case, eventually from this low, you have this 1, 2, 3, right? And inside of 3, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, you got, a completed 3-wave move here. Now the overall question is, are you forming a 4th wave, which is usually shallow in Fibonacci retracement, right? You can hit the 236, you can hit the 382. 236 has been hit. It's the one that's kind of holding. Now that is the question, right? The question is this wave 1? This is a wave 2, right? Very steep, coming down to the golden pocket, almost 7/8. Very common to see a steep wave 2. Wave 3, very explosive. Wave 4, very long and boring, right? And shallow on retracement, right? Which is usually 236, 382, and even 50%. Is this the case, right? Are we going to see this? That is the main question right now. Well, what I do like about this scenario, right? What I do like about this scenario is that we do have a lot of liquidity at $84,000, $85,000. There is a lot of liquidity here in this zone. Which would be nice to get that leg up. I mean, I would be interested in a short position, guys. Okay, I really would be interested in a swing failure pattern, right? Similar to the point of control of the range. I am in that short position from here as well. Just because it was something that we mentioned, right? I'm waiting for this level for a couple of days. Maybe you too as well. It's either you get above it, and as soon as you get below it, you trigger the short position with your stop loss above the high, or you it can get choppy, it can get double toppy, it can it can break out very aggressively. The way to manage this trade, right, if you want to get in at the highest level possible, this has been explained multiple times, right? If you have a solid level, which is this naked point of control, right? If you have this solid level, if you get above the level, you're not interested in shorting as you're above. But as soon as you get below the level, you can put your stop loss above the high, right? And then you can be relatively defensive with your stop loss, or keep it in the same place, right? It's a very, very small stop loss situation here. And it's just a rejection of a high confluence area, right? This level was, waited for the last few days. What if we do get up there? Well, eventually this is going to be resistance, whether it's going to be a small pullback or a large pullback, right? We've got some pullback drawings here. And now this is the thing, right? The thing is right now is, hang on a minute. This movement up looks very strong, right? Some of you people, I would really like to know your opinion, guys, because I know, are you feeling bullish or bearish in the next coming days? Let's just keep it simple on a poll here, right? This is our favorite question for the community. Are you feeling bullish or bearish for the coming days? Let me know, guys, in the poll, guys, right away. Yeah, bearish. I mean, this is the thing. When you zoom out, okay, we like zooming out and understanding where we are, okay? Because remember, this was news driven as well. We had a news driven pump. Donald Trump, tariffs postponed for 90 days. That's, massive bullish reaction. If you take a look at the stock market, we had a major pump as well. S&P 500, NASDAQ, major rally based on that news. But this rally is a bit of a three-waver. We're hitting massive support resistance flip. You get the deal, right? It's still heavily downtrending. It's kind of a programmed relief rally, right? Programmed relief rally. Donald Trump knows that we are going to get this relief rally. So his friends can get out, right? So the markets can pump. And his billionaire friends can get out of the stock market, right? Kind of thing. You kind of come with a conspiracy. What if this is all planned so people, the big money, can get out, right? Before another big crash comes. It's just, this is when you kind of trying to think, the conspiracy theorist, right? Of, maybe you did this on purpose because, it's just a big relief pump. talking about stock market. So, you know, the big players can actually get out and slowly get out, slowly dump, right? Or is it bullish? Or is it really, really bullish? Anyway, we are here to do the technical analysis. So now this is the question, guys, okay? Now this is the strong question that we do have at the moment. We need to zoom out a little bit, all right? We need to zoom out a little bit because, you know, this is an easy short, I have to say. This high over here is an easy SFP, easy rejection short position. The point of control of this entire range of the last 4 weeks, it's kind of too easy. And I think many have shorted this level, right? Myself included, right? Rejection, stop loss, you know, and then we get a big, you know, it was a fake pump, guys. It kind of feels too easy, right? And we know there's a lot of liquidity based on short trades, right? There is a, you know, there's significant liquidity above 83, 84K. So it seems like that liquidity needs to get washed out, right? So in that case, I would still be interested in, you know, it's not going to be an easy one, I have to say, but in a kind of an SFP here from these local highs, either this one or this one. One of the two is going to be a guideline for me to get into another short position. And you're like, you know, you're crazy. Why are you shorting the pump? Well, it's shorting a major liquidity grab. It's just shorting a major liquidity grab. And you would come to that conclusion that you're basically looking for a 5-wave move to the upside to finish here, right? When you're talking about elite wave theory and the impulse, well, the impulse did happen yesterday, right? We got a strong move. And before that, we got a small move, wave 1, wave 2, right? And the strongest move has been here. So now we're forming this wedgie structure. Is this the 4th wave? And now, you know, we're just going to get ready with whatever volatility happens internally here to create that 5th wave. Well, eventually with that theory, you know that the market, after moving up in a 5-wave structure, you know, at some point needs to get some correction. Very common to sweep up the 4th wave. So you would come to that conclusion that if the market does pump and attempts to break the highs of yesterday, you know, it's kind of the last wave, right? The last wave before you get a major correction down to very likely sweep up the lows of this wave, right? So with that theory, as you did not get an SFP from this lower high, it was an SFP from the point of control, you would have to believe, all right, maybe you sweep up this high, or maybe you actually extend and sweep up the highs of last week, right? This area right over here at 84,500, and then you get the swing failure pattern and you start correcting down. This zone becomes incredibly attractive, guys. Of course, it's not going to be easy when you want to short a massive pump, right? Because when you pump, it's like, you know, why would you go against the trend? So it's extremely important that you reject from these pivots, right? It's extremely important that you know, this is your guideline, right? If you use these as your guideline, it's extremely easy execution with very good risk management for that trading setup. But you need to get back below the level. You need to get back below this, the lower highs here. And with that conclusion, you would say, okay, well, you know, you are looking for a possible 5th wave here that should be topping out, right? So eventually, you know, this would be bullish. This would be quite bullish, in my opinion. Would be looking quite bullish, you know, depending on the movement down, right? Because the movement down could be a strong impulse, but it could be bullish. It could be the start of a reversal. However, we need to see that pullback, right? The pullback needs to be watched. If it's going to be, you know, very slow and you get bullish CVD divergence on the formation, we're going to have to check it, because without a doubt, this could still be a 3-wave structure, A, B, C, and you form 5 waves in the C wave, right? So at the end of the day, this is still a 5-waver. This is still a 3-wave. It's still a 3-wave despite getting this wave, because this 5th wave is part of this wave over here. And this would still be a 3-wave structure, right? So it's like, It can be bullish depending on the correction, but it can be extremely bearish, right? Where you form a massive wave 3, you capitulate, and we head back south, guys, right? It's the, regardless if it's going to be bullish, corrective, pump up, or bearish, you know, this is the rejection zone if we were to form one more wave up. If we were to form one more wave up, eventually SFP is the deal here. SFP either from this pivot or from this pivot of last week, right? We're talking about 84,600, 700. It can extend ever so slightly just to sweep up that liquidity that we do have, right? There's quite hundreds of millions of dollars above 85K. So it might just squeeze up ever so slightly. And we head up to the 7/8 Fibonacci, right? From the highs of the range to the low. So from this high to the low, it's kind of almost in, you know, it makes sense. Massive liquidity pocket in this area. So it would make sense to get a little bit of an extension fifth wave here. Well, not extensive, but get that pop out here, sweep up the liquidity, 7/8 Fibonacci, swing failure pattern, and then start moving down. We're not sure. There is a possibility that the top is in here already, okay? But this is just an idea. It's an idea that if we break out, I will remain patient for that breakout. If you break out from yesterday's highs, you know, we got our levels. Lower high right over here. This is too close in my opinion. I don't think that it's going to be a double top scenario. I think it will manage to try and claim that liquidity. There's hundreds of millions of dollars of short liquidations at $84,000, $85,000. So it would make sense for that fifth wave to stretch its legs a little bit, right? Stretch the legs a little bit and try and claim, you know, the lower high from last week, Friday. The 7/8 Fibonacci is going to be an interesting level as well, which can be treated as an SFP level, right? And what I mean about that, and this is from the highs of last week, right? Well, this was the 2nd of April to the lows of Monday, right? Because this is a 3-wave move down, a 3-wave move to the downside you have here. And you would come to the conclusion that this is a 3-wave move up. 7/8 Fibonacci, without a doubt, could be the, you know, very likely going to be the rejection point if it reaches there, because even this lower high could be the rejection point. Okay, this one right over here. So it is looking okay for another leg up, guys. It is looking okay for another leg up. There is a possibility of a lower high formation here. We're going to get that news in 3 minutes now, okay? There is a possibility of a lower high. I mean, you know, this is something that I've been talking about with the Legends trading community. And get a kind of a pump and dump here with the news. The main reason, the main idea here was possibly hit the golden pocket from this pivot high of yesterday to the pivot low, because here's where you do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And look at this as an A, B, C flat kind of formation. You're sweeping up all of the lower highs. You get to the golden pocket. You have the support resistance flip, and golden pocket is the one that gets the rejection. We have the news in a few minutes now, but it's going to be interesting. I'm already in that short position here. We're going to get some volatility, guys, okay? So stay safe with your trades that you have open from now. I do have a few open. I'm going to be a little bit defensive with the positions. But yeah, overall, we're getting the inflation rate right now, guys, in about 2 minutes, okay? Any positions open, I have to say, this would be a very sniper trade situation. Okay, however, if we do form a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think we could 4, 5, 4, 5. But that news, we know what happens with the news, guys. It could be a pump and dump. It could be a dump and pump. So just stay defensive with your positions right now. It could be a sweep of the lows, right? We know that on the news events, what we like to do is sweep up lows or sweep up highs. Okay, so it might be a dump and pump. It might be a pump and dump. So that news is coming right now in about 30 seconds. So hold on tight, legends, and then we'll analyze a little bit after the volatility. What are the different conclusions, right? Now the question is, Right, we're trying to squeeze up here. We're getting the data coming out right now. Markets are moving ahead. Markets are moving ahead. They are pumping a little bit. They are pumping ever so slightly. We do see Bitcoin pumping. S&P 500. Is it going to be a pump and dump? Inflation out right now, and it is pumping. Swept up the highs. Swept up the highs. Let's see what's going on. Need to be a little bit defensive here with the trade positions. Long trading setup mentioned in the Legends trading community did hit take profit. We did hit the take profit. We did a long position. I'll explain that long position. Looks like we're squeezing up here. Golden pocket's going to be an interesting reaction level. 50% Fibonacci has just been hit. I have a feeling that it might dump. The thing is now about this flat. I mean, preferably we would have gone higher. If we get a massive dump right now, I think it's going to hold on its ground. We've got lots of liquidity. The S&P 500 is pumping right now. I just want to explain the setup that was mentioned today in the Legends trading community, which was really looking for a bearish case. But regardless, the take profit has just been hit from a trading setup that we mentioned this morning. And I can go through that explanation right now. But the scenario was actually looking at a bearish case, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're looking for a flat here. Eventually, this flat is bearish, right? This flat would end up being bearish, right? You get the pump of the news, and now you're smack down. In a C wave, what you're looking at is a 5-wave move. I'm going to give the bulls a chance here. I'm already in a short from higher. It's a bit more of a swing short position. But what you're looking at here is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 expanding move in that C wave, in that ABC flat. Just SFP'd from this level. It would have been a little bit aggressive with the news to get into that short. Never a huge fan of trading the news, but quick SFP from this high. Ideally, you would have SFP'd from these lower highs right there. News is only for the braves, right? Only for the brave. I'm in a short already from higher, and the long trading setup was already hit take profit. That was the main idea today, guys. Let me just explain today's setup from the Legends trading community. I do think I'm going to give the bulls a chance here. We're going to give them a little chance, guys. We might be forming something else. You know, there is a possible count of this being corrective. I don't like it too much. I have to be honest here. I don't like it. But it's basically a double zigzag. But you have a awful running flat in the middle. I prefer the scenario that I explained here. It would have been nice to sweep up these highs. But it's the perfect trap. The perfect wedgie breakout trap right there. Right? Or whatever. And now it's going to smack down. bit of an aggressive short position, guys. Let me see the poll, how many people are bullish or bearish. But it would have made sense, it would make sense if it were to reject here. I think we just hit 50% Fibonacci from the highs to the lows. Yeah, no, not even 50% Fibonacci. Anyway, if any of the legends are watching the stream right now, they know that TP here has been hit. You want to collect those profits. Interesting scenario of rejection here. What is interesting here about the bearish case? Pump on the news. Inflation is down to 2.4%, guys. This is actually pretty awesome to see, right? Inflation is under control, right? When are we going to get that money printer going on and interest rates down? For the moment, it looks like it's not going to happen anytime soon. But bearish case scenario here, which should be getting a pretty aggressive leg to the downside after this rejection. If we are rejecting from here, and this is the top, then I would expect a pretty decent breakdown. And that is coming to the conclusion that yeah, I mean, the only options that you had here, guys, I mean, this is very aggressive, is this lower high or this lower high for the SFP. And you're trading the news. I would instantly put stop loss to break even. But I had there was a possible reason to believe that we could reject in this area. When you take a look at yesterday's highs and how the price action moved to the downside, you have a 5-wave move here. Very, 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 very nice 5-wave move down here. And eventually you have the sideways range that's been formed today. In this sideways move, you do have a 3-wave move to the upside, a 3-wave move down, and inside of this 3-wave to the downside, you had an instant bounce, which was overlapping this pivot low. As you overlap, I'm just going to explain today's trading setup, right, which was basically a breakout trade here. The price came to entry, but the take profit was just above this lower high. When you are looking for the price to break down in an impulse, right? Well, you want to see this wave 3 take over, right? Take over, go down and go to much lower levels. The moment the price bounces and it overlaps your first wave 1 here, you realize that there is a high probability that the next wave down is not going to break down aggressively unless it's a double 1-2 and then you form the 3-4-5. So when you have this price action, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, end of a possible wave here. And then you have 3-wave move up and 3-wave move down. With this bounce, you realize that the bulls could take over. And this is just a trade of $1,000, guys, right? It's just a day trade. If you were forming bullish CVD divergence from this pivot low to this pivot higher low, and a breakout strategy here was the safest way to get into this trade instead of speculating on a higher low or just longing right there, because you don't know where to put stop loss. Getting into the breakout here, you realize about this 3-wave move up. So it was basically long stop loss. And then we just had to hold on here to the trade because, then the next scenario was double 1-2, 1-2, right? And then, possibly 3rd wave. Overall, that was the explanation. The whole idea here was literally seeing this as a low for the bullish case or the bearish case. There is a chance for the bears, I have to say. The bears do have a chance here with this rejection. The bulls eventually have a chance. We'll go through that now in the next coming minutes. But the bearish case would be this one, right? Where you formed an expanding move here. And you have your ABC right over here. ABC flat. And I mean, this was the trade idea of today in the Legends trading community. Let me just quickly show you a little bit of what's been updated here today, this morning in the Discord, where we're looking for a move up here to sweep up the highs, right? And the explanation, you know, interested in the breakout of this trade and looking for the sweep of the lower highs here at $82,300. You know, looking for a possible three wave down, and the higher low here is possible. So the breakout is going to be an option, and we look for the rise to sweep up those lower highs, right? Given in detail, right? Important higher low. We've got some bullish CVD divergence. Important to break this strong level here. So overall, going in detail of that trading setup with the explanation. So now we do have the flat. Now we have swept up these, you know, the lower high here. What is very interesting from, I mean, and this is a rare, you know, I would be a little bit cautious on this scenario. I mean, if you're not in the short already here, I mean, it would have been nice to get up to the golden pocket. I'll have to be honest, right? As we talked about at the beginning of the stream, right? Kind of get a pump and dump, you know, at the golden pocket and sweep up this high. But we just swept up this high. So it was a bit of a sniper short. I would not short down here. I would not short here. I mean, even though there is a chance of going to lower levels. But yeah, this C wave basically would be, you know, an expanding move to the upside, which is, you know, you would never want to talk about expanding moves. You would rather want to talk about first multiple 1-2, 1-2, you know, setup. So a triple 1-2 and then a third wave, you know, 4-5, 4-5. You would actually rather want to talk about something like this than an expanding move, just because they are rare patterns. If you can find another pattern instead of an expanding one, you know, you would rather look for the other one because these are rare. However, you would come to the conclusion that if you were to break down, well, this was it, right? If you were to break down from here, I would realize that, you know, this was the count. There was a flat here and price just, you know, started rolling down. You know, and I would expect the price to actually break down very aggressively. You know, when you understand the kind of movements and the waves, many, you know, this would be a risky double bottom. Okay, this right over here would be a risky double bottom, risky liquidity grab from the lows. Just realizing that this could be the scenario. It's a double bottom that I would not want to get into. I mean, I would probably give it an attempt from the local lows of today, just because you do have the fourth wave possibility here, right? Where you have the lows here from yesterday, right? The wave 1, wave 2, wave 3. This possibly is wave 4, and we can stretch our legs up to $85,000. This is why, you know, you can't get too bearish when you have a big strong impulse like this and you have a possible fourth wave on the formation. So it's like, you know, I would possibly attempt that double bottom scenario. Anyway, as mentioned, with an expanding move, you never want to talk and speculate about this based on a pattern, because expanding moves are rare. But it just looks very beautiful here with this 5-wave move down and an ABC flat, and your C wave has 5 waves, right, in an expanding move. It's like kind of very, very nice, very beautiful, right? If the price were to come down very aggressively here, you would know, well, you know, this was it, right? And it's very trappy, right? It's a very trappy situation where lots of people are going to say, we're breaking out, right? We're breaking out of this pennant or whatever, right? We're breaking out of this pennant. I guess you would do something like this. we break it out, right, of the pennant. Get all of the breakout traders coming in and stop losses at the lows, right? You would assume that. And then eventually you get the classic trap, right? Where you do not need to get into a long position. Realizing this structure, realizing this structure. So yeah, this would not be a breakout that I would get in a million years because it's just a very classic trap situation, especially when you do have the news event, right? Where you create a pump and dump or a dump and pump. It's always a kind of a liquidity grab when you get the news. So anyway, this is a possibility they start breaking down because this is already two waves that have been formed, right? From the highs, you got a 5-waver, you got a possible flat. All of the counts are great for the flat, even except the expanding flat here. Expanding diagonal is not the greatest, but you got perfect count here. Zigzag B wave right there. This is where we got into the long position here today in the Legends trading community. You know, break out of this area, boom, 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 right? We're looking for the highs, looking for the idea of a flat scenario. We wanted that flat to be a little bit higher, I have to be honest here, but this was the overall idea of today's price action, right? Look for the breakout here, you know, interested in this breakout trade to sweep up the lower highs, and, you know, interested, you know, the explanation of the trade setup. ABC flat. We're looking for 82,300 to 400, right, to be swept in the next coming hours. It's a day trade. We managed to form a higher low here, and we managed to break up in the end, right? Just to get you an idea of what is posted in the Discord in the Legends trading community, right? Going with guidance, bullish CVD divergence, getting the breakout, right, and just literally going through the trading setup. Eventually, when you see this is a bearish overall pattern, right? You know, this is a long trade into this. I'm already in a short. This is why I didn't enter the short. But regardless, it would have been nice to sweep up these highs right over here. You know that this is bearish. The moment you get above 82,300, if you reject from one of these pivots, it's a possible sniper trade. And you got a possible corrective move here that will end up going down. And, you know, most will believe that it's breaking out. Anyway, so let's talk about the bullish case scenario, guys, okay? Because there is bullish case scenario. You could form a higher low in this region, and you could move up in a 1-1-1-2, form a 3-wave, 4-5-4-5. Here we go, right? It is possible. But if we break down very aggressively in the next 30 minutes, I would come to the conclusion that this was the pattern. There is a bullish count eventually. Let's put this on a side, okay? Let's just put this as like this. And we are going to organize this right over here. And then we'll talk about the bullish case, because there is a bullish case scenario, which I want to talk about right now, which has to do with, I think many eyes are looking at this. Too many eyes. This would be perfect that we break down from here, guys, because the main reason it would be absolutely beautiful is because it would be nice to see this, you know, an ABC. It would be nice to see all of this as an ABC movement. A, B, C. That's it. You do have 5 waves in your C, right? You do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's it. You know, you're finished. You've got a 3-wave move to the upside, and you do not form a 4th wave here. I mean, this is why this short position was actually very good, guys. The short position from the level that we mentioned throughout the last few days, the 83,000, you know, $200, $300 range. This was a very good level that's been mentioned a few days ago. And coming up to that level, on the video update that did not get any love at all, guys. I don't know. And this is like looking for a few days ago, move down. We're going to range, not claim the low. Very likely we do not claim the low. I do not know, guys. Sometimes I'm terribly wrong. And we talk about many different ideas. All right. So eventually, if you talk about 10 ideas, one of them is going to play out. Right. But I don't want to be like that. I want to just talk about, get ready for the idea that we talk about. Right. I cannot give myself just one scenario. It's very bullish, we're going to go up. It's very bearish, it's going to go down. We can say what is highly more likely, right? It can be more bullish. This move is more likely than this one, right? And if this happens, we're very likely to do this. So this is why with these videos that we do create, this is backed up by technical analysis, okay? You might see a lot of people just draw some random stuff, right? But this is backed up by TA with the explanation. So yeah, a higher low here was very likely, and then come up to the naked point of control. That is our next resistance level. And that's the level that we hit, and we got resistance yesterday, right? It looks like magic, right? It looks like you kind of know what the market's going to do, but it's just looking at the highest probability movements. So what did happen? Naked point of control, $83,000, rejection of a few $1,000s. Right? We're waiting for that level to potentially be hit. Yesterday, we talked about many scenarios, guys. I have to say, yesterday's stream was a bunch of BS. We were talking about triangles, this, that, the other. None of it played out. Well, the one that played out was the zigzag move up here to the upside, right? The 3-wave move to the upside, which was very aggressive, which is this one right over here, right? This is like, I don't think we're going to go up there very fast. And of course we had the announcement of the news creating that zigzag move up to the resistance level. It's the one that played out, right? We were talking about triangles yesterday. We could form many building up so many different possibilities, and then we just shoot up, guys, which was it is what it is, right? I don't know what's going to happen. I was actually surprised with this pump, but I was ready at this level. I'm ready. I know this level is important. I'm watching that level. So I'm waiting for the pump to get to that level. And just before that level, we get a little bit of a reaction. Perfect. You know, price is already getting exhausted. When you get a little consolidation before you reach your big major level, right? Your naked point of control. When you realize that you have from this first wave up, you have your 1, 2, your 3, and when your 3 is already consolidating, you know, that's it. That's it. You know, you're going to get your 5th, and you're going to get the move down. You know that is especially with this movement down. So this is why it's so important to wait to see what happens next. And this is why if this is not the top, and we are forming a 5-wave move to the, we are going to be forming a 5-wave move to the upside. This is very much still valid. Instead of this being an ABC, it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is why automatically these two, this is the same scenario as this one, but on a larger scale, right? This 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And rejection is the same thing. However, this 5-wave is part of the 3rd wave, right? You got a 5-wave move. Let's just change this color here, right? So you know that the 5th wave could get rejected at certain resistant level, which is the naked point of control. Eventually, that's your best level that we do have here. And realizing that, okay, there's 2 scenarios that could happen here. This is your ABC, perfect, 1, 2, 3, we move down, right? Or ABC, based on the local structure. We'll come to the conclusion on the local structure right now to try and figure out what's going on. This right over here is this, but in a larger scale, right? It's just a larger scale. You know that the breakout from yesterday's highs, okay, is unlikely to push up to 90K, right? It's unlikely that we get a move like this, right? It's just highly unlikely. Expanding fifth waves do exist. We would have to get something very bullish news or something to form an expanding fifth wave, right? To get to $90,000, pump $10,000, right? Between today and tomorrow. Yeah, I think it's unlikely, right? I don't think it's going to happen. So I understand that fifth wave, most of the times, eventually are smaller than your third waves. They just are, right? By nature. So there is going to be a moment that this fifth wave is going to top out in this region. It's going to top out in this region. Now the question is, where? Where can it top? This is why you're here, right? We want to know things, right? Not just random RSI and Bollinger Bands. We want to know where exactly could this happen. We understand, based on the knowledge, that fifth waves are smaller than your third waves, and they don't usually do this. They can, but it's rare. So automatically you come to the highest probability scenario, which is that fifth wave not going too far away, right? Not being too much, similar in length to wave one, potentially a little bit longer, but not as your wave three. With that theory, you need to zoom out on the chart and see where is the strongest levels of resistance that lie in this area where that fifth wave can get rejected. And eventually the fifth wave rejection most commonly comes down to the wave 4. So this rejection, you're looking at something like this. That is a trade that I would be interested in getting into if we were to get a movement up here. So where can it reject is the question. Okay, cool. All this theory is cool, but where are you going to execute your trade? Where are you going to put your stop loss? Where are you aiming? Where's your take profit, right? There's many questions eventually. It's easy to do I think it's going to do something like this, right? Or I think it's going to do something like this, and we're going to head up there. Executing the trade safely, responsibly, with good risk management is what you want to know, and this is why you are here. Right? You are here to learn. You're here to be a better trader, right, tomorrow. So eventually, with this theory, there is beautiful lower highs that we had from last week. This is where we have the liquidity squeeze. There's hundreds of millions of dollars of short liquidations. It's just perfect for that fifth wave to get an extension to break out a couple of $1,000s above yesterday's highs and squeeze out, right? Claim all of those stop losses that are sitting here, because I can tell you there are thousands of stop losses sitting behind these highs from short positions. Stop losses, liquidation events, doesn't matter. When you do have a stop loss hunt or a liquidation event, the most common thing is to wick above the level and then pull back. This becomes a good level to be interested in a short position. How? Which level? Well, it's, for me, it's easy. It's either this, well, there's a naked point of control here, by the way, that was not hit on the 4th of April. I still have it on there because we did not hit it. We front run that naked point of control by a few dollars. It's either swing failure pattern from these lower highs. Get up, get down, sniper, stop loss above the high. Possible large rejection. You're looking for something like this. Or you extend ever so slightly and you do get above 85, 85.5, and you come up to the 7/8 Fibonacci from the pivot high to the pivot low. 7/8 Fibonacci will be your deal here if you break out from this pivot high. Golden pocket today, yesterday, did get the rejection with that naked point of control. Very much expected level to reject, right? Either a couple of thousand or maybe 5,000, we don't know. It is rejecting from there. So there's two major levels to pay attention here, guys. If we do get that fifth wave up, if this turns out to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and we extend up, this lower high from last week sitting at 84,600, it might wick up and get beneath the level, or the 7/8 Fibonacci. If you break from these lower highs, the level that you need to pay attention is the 7/8, which is sitting at 85,400. You will be sweeping up that liquidity that you have. Perfect. It's where you have the largest sum. 85,400, 300. So it's the 7/8. The 7/8 is where you have hundreds of dollars of hundreds of millions of short liquidations. So it would be ideal to really get above the 7/8, and the 7/8 will be treated as a swing failure pattern. Rejection point, stop loss above the 7/8, short on the rejection, not as you get to the level. It's important to not short the pump, guys. You know, you're not shorting while the price is pumping. You need the rejection back down. You short with the price action. Stop loss above the high of the fake out, right? So that is going to be the main idea here, right? The main idea, if the price does extend up here, because yeah, we do have, I'll go through the comment section right away, guys. We do have the bearish case as well, which I just explained. We do have the bearish case that I just explained. Which is that you finished a three-wave structure here, right? Just looking at this higher low. Just looking at this higher low. And you finished a three-wave move up. ABC. The fact that we have so much liquidity here is disturbing, guys. So, you know, I would give the bulls a chance. I would give the bulls a chance here to get that squeeze up. Would give the bulls a chance to squeeze up to that level. Now we need to focus on the lower time frames, okay? Now is when we're going to focus on the lower time frame. But I need to go through the comment section, right? Because can we map this scenario? Most importantly, from this wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 speculation, your wave 4, needs to hold either the 382 or the 50% Fibonacci. So far it is consolidating at the 236. Most commonly you do get to 382 or 50%. Now I have a problem if we do get down to this range. It's not going to be an easy decision. I'm so aware of the price really crossing through here. And yeah, no 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to be happening. Just because we do have the end of the ABC movement, right? You know, we know the deal, guys. We are in a very heavily downtrend, and all of the existing pumps that we've had from news or whatever have been smacked back down, right? Anything good, we had Donald Trump here, some tweet of whatever, smacked back down. Boom. Good bullish news here. What was this? I think this was something with tariffs, but we were very much aware of the last pump happening here. Smacked back down. Tariffs postponed? Yeah. I don't know. I'm not buying it. This is still a three-wave move from the lows. Still downtrending. Still three-wavy. You get the deal. I'm not too bullish just yet. I'm not too bullish just yet on the local downtrend. And we are facing massive resistance. So I'm going to give the chance for the bulls to create that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But this area becomes incredibly risky to get into a long on the pullback, guys. I have to say, it is risky. And main risk is you are downtrending throughout the last few months and weeks. You've come up here in a three-wave structure, and you, yeah, you know, and what else? What else, right? You're downtrending, you moved up in a three-wave structure, and you possibly finished, you know, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here on this three-wave structure, right? Right over here. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C. If we were to form a fourth wave here and move up in a fifth, the 382 or the 50% Fibonacci needs to hold. The 382 or the 50% Fibonacci needs to hold. One of the two. It's either 382 or it's either 50%. The danger of this, guys, of looking for this long position is the big inefficiency that we have, right? What do I mean by inefficiency? The moment you start losing the higher lows that is just slightly above the 382 Fibonacci, we know what happens, guys, when you leave such a candlestick like this, right? If you lose the top of the candlestick where we have the first higher lows, you have a high probability of smacking back down the entire pump that we created yesterday. And this is common, guys, to see, right? It wouldn't be a surprise to see a massive dump back down and retrace the entire pump, right? We've seen it throughout the last few weeks. It's very common to see. So not a kind of a pump to be very excited about. We got the tariff postponed 90 days. Well, does that mean that bull market is back? Absolutely not, guys. Every pump that we've had from Mr. President, right, retraced straight back down. This was one of them. This was a good example. Which one did we have here also in this downtrend? We had some kind of tariff news here. I don't know what it was. Can't remember. This was on 2nd of April, but we were grinding up here and got smacked back down. So we're going to give them a chance. We're going to give the bulls a chance, guys. I just got into a long scalp day trade. I'm out already from that trade. It was just a scalp. Okay, as shared at the beginning of the stream, it's just a long take profit at the highs. So yeah, I'm not too interested right now in what could happen. I'm not incredibly interested. Next level would be, I would be very, very cautious on, we're in the middle of the range right now, so it's like I wouldn't do anything here. We need to kind of get out of this range. You know, it's very, very choppy, very rangy. You know, there's no more scenarios that I do have here. You know, I'm actually leaning a little bit bearish, if I'm honest. I'm actually leaning a bit bearish with this move. ABC flat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. ABC flat. Expanding move in your C wave. I'm leaning kind of bearish. Yeah, we need to get out of this zone. One of the first levels where the price could bounce and get a reaction is these higher lows. But I don't like it, guys. I personally don't like it too much. I do see this very trappy price action. We've been bearish, guys, for months and weeks. And to speculate that this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we would really have to see some kind of sign of strength here. And we can detect that, but we just need to remain patient. Trying to catch the ultimate support level here for this move at the 382 Fibonacci from the pivot low to the pivot high is going to be dangerous. It's going to be dangerous. And the main reason why it's dangerous to try and speculate on the 382 or the 50% here right now for that long. I would rather see the first leg up and try and get into the retracement, guys. You know, it's get that bounce from wherever it happens. If it's the 382 or if it's sweeping up the lows, wherever. See the first initial move up in a 5-waver. And, you know, then I would say, okay, I want to jump into a long here because I think we can form that 5th wave. But trying to catch the lows on the drop is not going to be my option here. Realizing the bearish case, which this could be a finished 3-wave move, and realizing that the candlestick, guys, you know, this kind of candlestick that we do have, it has left us no support, right? When you do have such a strong candlestick like this, if you lose the last level of support, which is sitting above the 382, you know that the roll down is going to be fast, right? This is classic zone where the price just rolls down. Okay, so as long as we're above that zone, yeah, we could form a 4th wave. So I'm really kind of not interested right now in jumping into the long. I think we could get the leg down here. If anybody wants to jump in, wants to attempt this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'm not attempting. I just got into a scalp long today. That's it. That's finished for me. Managed to, you know, lock my gains for the day. And I'm here to make gains. I'm here to get into high probability trading setups. And right now, for me, I realize the dump and I realize the pump here in the 5th wave. So the best level that I'm waiting for here, legends, is the one that I explained at the beginning of the stream. Just gonna have to wait for this. If we roll down, I'm already in that short position, so great. If I get stopped out at break even from that short position, or from the point of control, right, the level that we mentioned that to get the rejection, right, if we moved up from here, this is where we are rejecting likely, right? If we do reject, then, you know, it's a possible short trigger with stop loss above the high. If I get stopped out at break even from that trade, I'll be looking at this lower high. It's just the clearest trade, guys. It's the clearest higher probability trading setup. And it's either sweep of this lower high or 7/8 Fibonacci from the highs to the lows. Those are the 2 pivots. If it smashes through those highs, then we just do not short the pump. We short the rejection from one of these 2 pivots. So that is what I would be looking at. And if we roll down from here, then all good, because, you know, in the short already from the point of control is the level to get into the short, as mentioned. Remember, guys, if you are interested in trading, you know that Weeks has a great bonus for you. It is 50% deposit bonus. It's a maximum of $1,000 deposit bonus, okay? So if you deposit $2,000, you're getting $1,000. The way to get this bonus is you transfer that deposit from spot to your futures account, and in 48 to 72 hours, you're getting the airdrop. And you can use this money for trading and withdraw the profits that you make, of course. This will mean that you're increasing your capital. Take advantage, you guys. This is literally free money. And you get 25% fee reduction by using the second link down below, guys, okay? Take advantage. You have all of those perks. Weeks. And if you wish, you can trade just with an email and a password. They just require an email and a password if you want to start trading directly there here from Weeks, guys. Take advantage. You get 25% fee reduction with a second link, okay? I'm going to be remaining patient, guys. I'm already in a short. The long day trade already got stopped out, the rest of the position at break even, but regardless, made some profits on that. Target was hit. Just a little scalp, guys. This is what we do. Now, for the moment, it is very confusing price action. Very, very confusing price action. There is a chance for the bulls here, one thing that I was looking at, if this were to be correction, if we do not claim these lows, I just don't like it at the moment, right? I wouldn't long now here and put a stop loss down here. You know, it's just not, I don't like it. I wouldn't enter a trade here and put a stop loss here, a long. I wouldn't short either, because the short was either the SFP from here or from here, right? One of the two levels was a good option for a swing failure pattern to get into a short based on the news. Pump and dump on the news. Now, the only kind of bullish case that I do see here, as we do have, you know, for the bullish case that this is a wave 4, right? We're coming with this theory. You need to build up, you know, what are the possibilities here for this to be the wave 4 and get the wave 5, right? You know, this is the whole idea, right? If it is going to be bullish, I'm not interested, to be honest, right now on the longs, guys. I'm not feeling it. I know the risk. I'm not buying it. I understand that this could have been a 3 wave, 1, 2, 3, finished. I'm not buying it. If we want to pump here, then we pump. I would be more interested. I got into a long scalp. I'm in a short. Not interested in longing this area. But I understand, you know, we could be holding here. There's a lot of liquidity at 84, 85K. So, yeah, there is a chance. There is a chance in doing so. I just don't want to participate on the long with this price action that we formed, because there is a bearish case, right, that I explained. There is a reason to believe that we can drop from here, right, which is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C flat, larger leg down. There is a reason for me that this is possible. There is the bullish case eventually, which is the wave 4 is finished either here, or maybe it can go, you know, maybe can finish later on. If you were to come to the conclusion and you suddenly bounce from here and you start pumping, well, eventually what we do have is a zigzag move here, a running flat, which is not nice at all, because your B wave extends 2 times longer than your A wave. And then you have another zigzag here. So it's basically a double zigzag. You got another little zigzag here. This is a, you know, possible WXY. Double zigzag. W, X, and your running flat and your Y right there. And right now you have moved up in a 5 wave structure in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now you've finished your correction and you're going to move up. This is possible. This is possible. I don't like it too much. But I mean, if we were to be forming insane bullish CVD divergence, which is not the case. Oh, we're actually forming massive bearish CVDs. Oh, this is insane. There's lots of people longing here. Lots of longs entering here. I mean, lots. I mean, small amounts, a few million, but there is longs entering here. Got high highs on CVD. Yeah, they're very local, bearish CVD divergence, but still. Big high highs here on Bybit. Not nice to see. Not nice to see. But if we were to pump from here, this would be my conclusion. I mean, you could always go with peanuts. You could always go with a few peanuts, right? If you wanted to long here, the 7/8 Fibonacci or the 0.88 even. Pivot low, pivot high. Yeah. It is like the limit level to hold on. So I mean, it's already pumping right now as we speak, as we've done the analysis, but this would have to be the level to hold for the bulls for that wave 4, right? Hang on a second, let's get this. We need a, oh my goodness, what are we doing? It's getting messy, getting very messy. This would be the idea right now for the bulls. Zigzag, running flat, zigzag, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, expanding move, correction, you're off to the races now in a third wave formation. Third wave needs to be on the formation in the next coming hours. If you wanted to get into this long trade, I mean, you could have risked a few peanuts here. Could have risked a few peanuts and stopped beneath the low, and I would even target the highs already. If this were to be the case, right? If this is the valid count, then eventually you want to start seeing price action gaining momentum in the next couple of hours to claim $83,500. Because what you're looking at here is you would want to see the formation of your wave 3. What you want to see here in the next coming hours is the big pump coming, right? Could have entered with a small position, right? I didn't like it. I didn't take this long position, but with the analysis, if it were to turn out bullish, you would have to come to that conclusion that from the lows of today, you have moved up in 5 waves. Right? So, yeah. Let's just organize this out of entertainment of the scenario for the bulls, because there is a lot of liquidity at 84, 85k, guys. You know, it's inevitable to not realize that there is a valid bullish count. And you know, from the low, if from the low you have a 5-wave move up in an expanding move, you need to give a chance that the correction might be a wave 2, and you could be forming your wave 3. It is possible, right? A little bit of confusing here, because you know, the main reason I did not get into the long is because we have this scenario, right? Which is the ABC flat. ABC flat and your C wave and the expanding move, right? So you're like, okay, you have a valid bearish case, you have a valid bullish case. Which one's going to play out? I don't know. Right? So you got 2 valid counts here, and eventually this one, this scenario would be forming a lower high and rolling down, and the bullish one would be, you know, you start rocking here in the next coming hours, right? You start moving up in a third wave. I don't, it's just, there's, as you do have 2 scenarios, for me, there's just no trade here to be taken, right? When you have that conclusion, it's like, oh, this could happen or this could happen, then don't trade. Right? So yeah, anyway, I think the best scenario, guys, is the higher time frame. I mean, let's give the bulls a chance. We give the bulls a chance to, whatever happens here, get the leg up, but understanding that this will come to its end stages, possibly 84 to 85k. I've explained the levels of resistance that I would be paying attention. And if we start rolling down from here, I'm not interested in catching the speculation of the 4th wave. I'm not interested, guys. You know, I am aware that it is dangerous because when you pump so fast, you can dump as fast as well, right? So looking for any fib levels in this area is just not going to be part of my strategy today. I am not going to participate in saying, well, the 382 should hold or the 50% Fibonacci should hold if this is a wave 4. And, you know, the inefficiency that we have here is absolutely crazy. So I prefer, if we were to move down and this holds, to look for the first sign of strength leg to the upside, bump, 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 and then say, right, here we go. You know, we could be in the fifth wave formation, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But I want to join the market once we get that first leg up. I don't want to catch the bottom. I don't want to be a falling knife catcher. 382 or 50% could hold. I mean, maybe this was the low, guys, as explained with that other scenario. Very easily, what is common to see in a wave 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if your wave 2 is steep and aggressive, like this one that we had yesterday, if your wave 2 is steep and aggressive, then your wave 4 is shallow and not so aggressive and very boring, right? So, and you know, on the other side, mainly it's like this. Wave 2s are usually aggressive and wave 4s are very, very boring and shallow. But on the other side, if your wave 2 were to be boring and shallow, then your wave 4 can be aggressive, you know, without overlapping, and then get the pump to the upside. So this is what we have at the moment. This is why you need to give the bulls a chance here. It does look interesting for the bulls. I am only right now participating in a short position from that naked point of control. As mentioned the last few days, it's just the level to pay attention for the rejection. So if I get stopped out break even, I will be eyeing the other next levels to the upside, as mentioned at the beginning of the stream. Yeah, not much really here. Let's go through the comment section, guys. I haven't gone through the comment section. There is a little bit of news that I want to go through. I mean, not really much, but fear and greed index, right? Not in crypto, on the market did get a little jump. This was at 3, guys, a few days ago. It did jump up yesterday with the 90-day, you know, postponed tariffs, right? Which eventually got a little jump up, but still not incredibly bullish, right? Ethereum got a leg to the upside. Let's take a look at Ethereum. Dollar index is dropping today again. Ethereum did get a decent little pump. It is coming kind of back down now. Just holding the base here of yesterday's and Tuesday's highs. Sorry, my bad. Holding that support. I have my doubts here on Ethereum. I would rather see Ethereum going lower because I am DCAing on Ethereum every Monday. We buy 1 Ethereum as long as we're below 2K. So if we go low on Ethereum, bring it on. We're buying cheap. So if we get bull market coming back, then we've probably bought only just a couple of Ethereum, right? I do have Ethereum in my portfolio from the last few years, but this is just for the channel. On Monday, guys, we'll be buying another Ethereum, right? Every Monday it's 1 Ethereum. Let's go through the comment section now. Yes, guys, how are you feeling bullish or are you feeling bearish? Ooh, I do not know for the coming days. I mean, I would say bearish for the coming days. I realize we could pump to 84-85K. So in the coming days would be bearish, I guess. But a local pump is possible to 84-85. We know that. Oh, this is almost a 50-50, legends. Yes. Look at this. Bulls and bears out of over 1,200 votes. The bulls and bears are fighting, baby. Let's go. 57% of people are feeling bullish. They are feeling Trump right in there, you know, yeah, Donald Trump, let's go, right? You're feeling the bullishness from yesterday's pump, right? And 43% of people are bearish. Let's go through the comment section. I want to see, first of all, before I go through comment section and we just have a little bit of a Q&A session and we can take a look at some altcoins, maybe flip-flop into some news and some altcoins maybe from the comment section. We can do that now, guys. But first of all, I want to see how many likes we do have, because I need that like button to get absolutely destroyed. We're going to do a bit of Q&A. Bitcoin's being pretty much covered. Very cautious right now, guys. It's either short from this level, which is the level, the higher time frame level that we mentioned the last few days. Really a bit of a headache here right now to really see if this is a fourth wave or not. You do have two scenarios. If we were to pump up here very aggressively in the next coming hours, I would come to this conclusion. This is it. Corrective move. First wave in an expanding move, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from the lows, and you're just going to start pumping aggressively in the next coming hours to take out 84 and maybe 85k. If the bearish case is the scenario, then eventually you have a wave 1 or a wave A to the downside, and you have your wave B or your wave 2. Still very shallow. It is shallow, guys, I have to say. The thing about this corrective move, it is a shallow pullback, only hitting the 3. Well, it did almost hit the 50%. We're going to give it an okay. We're going to give it an okay. So yeah, no, it's okay for a pullback. Not that shallow. It's okay. So let's go right away through the comment section. Say hello to the beautiful community. I wanted to just double check how many likes we do have, guys, because hey, if there's no likes, 300 likes only, we were almost 1,000 people watching. Nah, this cannot be true, guys. Let's smash up the like button. We're going to do a little bit of Q&A session, and we're going to take a look at some other stuff, guys. We can take a look at other markets. I can ask, you know, answer some questions. Make sure to get your questions in. Make sure to comment down here on the side in the comment section. Oh, we're dumping now. Maybe some people were longing for the fourth wave. Maybe people were shorting because of the end of the structure. Like I said, guys, I'm not participating in this momentum. And we did get into a nice little scalp, just under $1,000 of a move, but still, the targets, the explanation is there. Good risk management, looking to sweep up this lower high right there as a, you know, target number 1. And this was all explained in detail, guys, right? Explained on why I'm entering this trade. This is the main reason. This is actually what is playing out. If we're going to start breaking down right now, this is actually what is happening. ABC, and we're rolling down. If we start rolling down from here very aggressively in the coming hours, this is literally the count, right? Giving you that possible short. Eventually, if this is an ABC, you want to get into a short on a swing failure pattern, either this high or this high. Anyway, let's go through the comment section. Let's see how many likes we do have. Guys, please, come on, let's go. 400 likes at least to give me a little bit of energy, right? That's the only thing that I ask on the stream. We do, you know, I try and do my best on the technical analysis, explaining the levels, explaining why this would be a good trade, why this would be a bad trade, why I'm not doing anything right now, why I'm going to wait for this level, right? Explaining you the process of getting into the trading setups so you can absorb all of this and take it as good education. And I just need a little bit of that like button, guys, going to at least a 400. My like button sucks. I don't know. I probably need to dance around with a bikini or something to get that like button smashed. Anyway, let's go through comment section now. Yes, we're almost getting at 400, and now it's comment section. Okay, I'm just going to take a quick hike, and when I come back, I want to see if we do have 400 likes. That would be a surprise. Yes, almost. Let's go. All right, legends. Let's go through comment section. Bitcoin is just playing around here. It's playing around. Playing around in this range. Very choppy and confusing right now. I ain't going to do any counts here for the moment. I'm just going to let the price action decide if we need a breakdown or pump. Let's go through comment section. Say hello to the beautiful Joe. How you doing, my man? Much love to you. World War 208. Man, what's this? Bullish divergence on the 15-30 minute. Bullish divergence on the 15-30 minute. Is that bullish CVD divergence? These are the only divergence that I take a look at. CVD, guys. No RSI, no other type of divergence. CVD is the only one. Bullish ones on CVD. On the macro, we still have bullish CVDs, which, you know, this is good. This means that at some point we are looking to sweep up all of the highs, right? So the reversal on Bitcoin is likely going to happen, right? The question is, which is going to be the low? Is the low in? I don't think so. Is it going to be 72? Is it going to be 68? But a reversal in the next coming weeks, months, couple of months potentially, is almost imminent, guys. Almost imminent, right? We can't say that. We can't say it's going to happen. But it's, you know, there's high probability in getting the reversal and getting to 90k, 95k at some point in the next coming weeks, okay? Be it 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. So yeah, divergence, I only take a look at CVD. I'm not sure. There is bullish CVD divergence throughout the last few weeks. That is for sure. So that is good. That is kind of good for the mid-long term. CME gap. Oh, let's take a look at CME gap. Not a massive fan of CME gaps, but we can take a look. They are support or resistance. They are support or resistance. Yeah, CME gap is almost filled, right? Or is it filled? Is it filled or almost filled? Yeah, CME gap was filled, guys, or not? This was the close from Friday. Kind of just filled, right? CME gap filled. Yeah. I mean, it depends on what time frame you look at it, right? We're dumping down, legends. We're going down. Oh. Yeah. I'm already in a short position, but the short trade would have been either this pivot or this pivot. Well, we're coming to our first little, our first little support that we have here. This is really a zone that we do not want to lose. This might get an interesting bounce. This is the support that needs to hold for the bulls. I do not want to see the price action get across this candlestick, because if it does, the dump could be epic, guys. The dump could be really epic. So yeah, the bulls are, you do have the chance of the bulls holding this zone right over here. The last higher low that we do have, the first higher low after the pump, right? You do not want to cross through this candlestick, because it could get nasty. Anybody that is getting into any long positions, from this dump or whatever, this is a zone that you do not want to add to the position, legends. Just for safety, you do not want to get into adding to longs in this area because of this candlestick, guys. It's just a little tip, guys. It might just do this and this, but most of the times many times, let's leave it that way, if you lose that level, it can cross down very aggressively. So I would not be playing around with adding to long positions. All of those bulls out there, people that are very bullish, just whoever's trading out there and is bullish and wants to believe that this is a wave 4, I'll have to say that there will be a better way in getting into this wave 4 speculation, okay? Instead of catching the bottom, just because this area is dangerous. It's a dangerous zone which price could just nuke down based on the inefficiency, right? Let's, the clearest example that we have from this kind of candlestick that's not leaving any support is the pump that we had here from Donald Trump tweeting, right? This was a tweet from Donald Trump. And yeah, you know what happened here, right? We instantly corrected the entire dump down, right? Very fast, very quick. You get the deal. When you have fast moves down, you can have fast moves to the upside as well, right? Fast move down, fast move up. Fast move up, fast move down. You have many examples, many examples, right? Here you have another one. Fast move down, fast move up. This one did leave a little bit of a few levels, but yeah, you got this obviously all-time high, big pump and dump, fast move down, fast move up. You got a bit of a pump and dump and pump in this area. It's just dangerous, just dangerous. Of course you can hold still. Of course you can hold still. It's just for the people that are, really bullish and that want to get into epic longs. If you're using a lot of capital and leverage, you in this area, you're in danger. This is a danger area. I would prefer to stay away and see the price, what it does. Either break down and then form a little flaggy range where we are looking for trading opportunities very easily with good risk management, good probabilities, instead of saying, oh, we're going to form a higher low, I want to catch the low here. I do think that this is corrective and we're going to pump back up in a 5th wave. And as explained before, there is a possibility that you formed a wave 1 and a wave 2 here, right? Worst case scenario is that you're gonna form a 3rd wave here, a very aggressive dump down. And the valid count here is this one that I shared at the beginning of the stream. This is your valid count for this breakdown. I'm not sure if any of the legends managed to short this. I mean, we were getting this on the stream, but the idea of this ABC is literally playing out. This idea, and we only got into a long position. I mean, I didn't short this SFP because I'm already in a short. But this was the overall idea of today, to long at the highs of the A wave, giving the explanation of the trading setup. It's a day trade, it's a scalp. We've been waiting all day for this to play out. And as you see, it's a 5-wave move down and it's an ABC flat. This is the take profit of the long, and you want to look for a short, either the SFP of the A wave or the 4th wave. One of these 2 pivots is very common to swing failure pattern, and it's your entry trigger. If you want to get, if you're looking for the rollover, right? This would be an ABC or a 1, 2, 3, and you're finishing your ABC flat here, and it's either short on the rejection of this pivot or this pivot. And this is literally what is happening, right? Now the question is, with this new wave, can it maintain support? either at the 382 or the 50%. I mean, it has a chance still, as long as we do not cross successfully this candlestick, right? This is still could be support. I'm not going to jump into a long position here. Being aware of this, it's just not a good long, and it's not a good short either, because you know that you could have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what would be the plan, right? What would be the plan? I need more information. More information would be, we find support somewhere and we get a decent pump up. Preferably, the pump is a 5-wave move up. If we get this kind of structure, this will mean that the price looks pretty damn good. It's found support and we're getting our initial signs of strength. Initial signs of strength here, moving up like this, especially coming all the way up almost to take out these highs, will mean that unlikely that this is a lower high and we're going to break down. And the 3-wave corrective structure, I will be paying attention to the 50% to the 7/8 Fibonacci to maintain support. Preferably, I will be flipping to the CVD chart and I will be zooming in, analyzing very carefully, is there more interest on short positions in the market or more interest of longs? Well, if we do see the pump here and the correction, what I want to see here is the CVD forming lower lows as we form higher lows here. This will be the moment that I will be confident that this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're in the 4th wave here in the higher time frame. I know there is that chance. I know there is the chance. And there is a lot of liquidity at 84, 85K. This long is only for the brave. The people that want to long the last level of support zone based on the candlestick. If you can cross here and you can form a massive dump of $2,000-3,000 at least in a matter of a couple of hours, right? So it is dangerous for all of those people that want to long here. And yeah, I don't know, maybe you're happy in getting into a small position, right? And that's it. And just, you have a stop loss, I don't know, down here. And you just chill, right? You're like, I have faith that we're going to form a 4th wave and we're going to create that 5th wave. There's lots of liquidity. So I'm just going to get into a small position. I can manage my risk. I'm not going all in. It really depends on how you trade, right? I would rather wait for an initial bounce. Taking out this high already would be interesting, especially if you move up like this. Then this would be very, very interesting to look for the next wave up, right? This would be a clear sign of strength, and I would be interested in longing the retracement. Bullish CVD divergence, you know, hit 50% golden pocket zone. You might back test these lows of today. That would be a very interesting long position, because you realize that the bearishness has lost the downtrend, right? You kind of lost the downtrend, sign of strength. It might just shoot up from here, which is also possible. Then you kind of miss out the retracement. But usually when you're uptrending, you do get better opportunities on retracements. Usually when you're uptrending, it's when you downtrend that the retracements can be very shallow, right? And you just like, I'm waiting for a pullback, and the pullback never happens, right? You just roll down. But in an uptrend, you mainly do get them, right? Imagine waiting for a pullback on this movement to the downside. You know, I'm just going to get into the pullback. You know, once we retest this support resistance, then I'm getting in, and it's like whoa. Where's the bounce? I wanted to get into the bounce. There was no bounce. because the drops are mainly more aggressive, but the pumps are a little bit more chilled, except for the third waves eventually, right? So yeah, your first wave should get a nice little pullback at some stage. So if we do get that nice pump sign of strength, the pullback will be interesting to get into the long. And your target zone, first of all, is take out the highs. So, you know, the idea is this. Then eventually 3, 4, 5. And then we're looking at our next levels. That is what I want to see first. And I'm interested in longing in this area. Right now here is you're putting faith. You're putting faith in that support. And I don't trade by faith. I want to see information. I want to see strength. I want to see, you know, a possible reversal sign. I want it to make sense. So that's what we're waiting for here. I mean, that would be the overall game plan. And for the long. And yeah, for the shorts, I'm very interested in these lower highs. This lower high and the 7-8. This was explained, guys, at the beginning of the live stream, right? I explained why the possible next leg up, if it were to happen, that it will unlikely shoot up to 90k, right? If we move up from here, you know, there's a high chance that we're going to reject either here or reject either here. And the first one is a lower high liquidity grab right over here. And the next one is the 7-8 Fibonacci from the highs of last week to the lows. That is the rejection point, okay? Those two are the guidelines, just like this one mentioned in the last few days, which is the naked point of control, right? Or, you know, weekly naked point of control. This is the guideline that you want for that short position. You're above it, you're not interested. You start getting below it, you're interested in triggering that short. Stop loss at the high, you ride the momentum. You can be defensive with stop loss. You just ride it down. I got into a small position here, just realizing it could be it could be more of a swing trade position. Remember, guys, if you are interested in trading, Weeks is an awesome platform. You do get a great bonus. You get 50% deposit bonus, guys, once you sign up with the link down below. The way to get this bonus, it's a $1,000 maximum bonus. Pay attention here because it's only it is $1,000 cap. Not only $1,000 is a lot of money. If you deposit $2,000 and you transfer that to your futures account in 48 hours to 72 hours, you'll be getting an airdrop of 50%. It's maximum $1,000, okay? You also get 25% fee reduction on your trades as soon as you sign up with the second link down below, guys. Take advantage on Weeks because, yeah, you got these great perks, right? Fee discount, 50% deposit bonus. If you wish, you can just sign up with an email and a password. Email and password, start trading in a matter of minutes, guys. Take advantage. Weeks is leading the game on exchanges. They are growing very, very fast. Let's go with the comment section, guys. Sorry, I just want to explain a little bit of the plan here. If we do drop down, I'm not interested in anything. I'm not going to FOMO short and I'm not going to enter a long. I just want a bit of a range formation here. What is interesting that could form as we do, you know, the most bullish case scenario, if we were to roll down in a three-wave structure here, there is the potential of forming a contracting diagonal here, which is going to be very interesting. However, we need that dump. We need that wave 4. It's going to be it's an interesting scenario. Golden pocket, of course, would be your zone that you want to see support. It's literally sitting at these highs. That's something that I would be interested in and maybe getting into a long. But we need to form a range. We need to see proof of support. We need to come down here in a 5-wave structure. Then you have A, B, C, right? Resistance, support, flip. You have the pivot low to the pivot high of this movement that we had in the last 1 to 2 days. Golden pocket with a 3-wave move down. You form 3-wave move up here, 3-wave move down, 3-wave move up, 3-wave move down. Why not 3-wave move up here and form a contracting move? It is possible, but we need more information, right? We need more information here. So, but it would be a really nice setup, right? Everybody becomes very bearish with this drop, and then we actually find support here. We form a 3-wave move. It's going to be interesting. This will take a little bit to develop, and we need to analyze. All right, we are downtrending, guys, throughout the last few weeks. So it's longing a higher low on a higher time frame downtrend. You know, it's dangerous, right? Because you realize that we could be just heading down to test the lows again and again and again and again and again and again. So if you want to get into a higher low, it's like, yeah, good luck with that, right? So we need a lot of information here based on this possible structure, right? We need to come down there, see proof of support, find bullish CVD divergence here, very, very strong ones. And then we can say maybe we do come up here. But it's a good level. It's the golden pocket from the pivot low to the pivot high of the latest move. It is the resistance support flip, right? From those highs that we formed yesterday. Nice highs, nice highs, nice highs. Nice resistance support flip. Golden pocket. Nice level of confluence. Just a basic resistance support flip and the golden pocket. When you use a little bit of more theory, then eventually you have the 3-wave move up, 3-wave move down, higher low, 3-wave move up here, 3-wave move down. Maybe you actually bounce here and you form a 3-wave move up, and then you form that contracting move. This would actually be very bullish. This would be a first bullish sign, and eventually you would look for that 3-wave corrective structure, and then eventually we are, you know, heading to higher levels. Lots of information need to happen here, but the most bullish case scenario, if you were to drop down here, or the only bullish case scenario that you have left, is an ascending contracting move, and you need to find support here round about the golden pocket, right? Because yeah, if you do get a channel from the highs to these highs right here, I mean, you have a lot of space. You have a lot of space for this to be contracting still. You could easily, yeah, you can cross the golden pocket, maybe hit the 7-8 even. If it is going to be, yeah, but golden pocket would be the ideal zone to find support. You got the resistance right there. 3-wave move down. Yeah, this would be the zone to hold. This would be the zone to hold. 78K. 78K zone. Anyway, let's go through comment section, see what's going on with the community. Scam wick to 83,500. Yeah. Very, but it's possible. No pain, no gain. Sol got me wrecked today. Were you long on Solana? What's going on? Guys, be cautious. You know that we are heavily downtrending. I know yesterday the tariffs getting postponed was good news, but at the end of the day, I would love to be bullish, guys, in the short term, right? And say that, you know, we're going to go, I'm bullish long term eventually. That is inevitable to not be bullish long term. But when you take a look at a downtrend like this, and you move up in a 3-wave structure, and this pump up was driven by news, yeah. You know, this is like red alert. Red alert. Good news means bad news on the chart. 3-wave structure in a downtrend. You get the deal. That ain't good. That ain't good. So I'm not sure if you got wrecked on Solana because you were longing or maybe you, I don't know. But anyway, stay cautious. Big boys are in the house. Let's take a look. Who are the big boys that are in the house? Let's go. Next car, how are you doing? Too much maybe. Well, my man, nothing is for certain, guy. Too much maybe. Well, yeah. This is technical analysis. This you adapt to the market conditions. Like I said, this won't be a maybe for me. Huh? I will short the rejection from this pivot or the 7/8. I will short it because I realize that if you get a wave 4 here, the wave 5 unlikely to extend. And it's going to top out. And the best zones to top out is this one and this one. So that's not a maybe. I'm going to short the rejection here, right? If you want to know something that is certain, if we do reject, I'm shorting from this pivot or the 7/8, right? So if you wanted something more clear, then that's the clearest thing that I do have for you at the moment. And if you wanted something clear or a setup, right? There's not clear anyway. There's nothing clear. There was a little long scalp that we mentioned today. A few days ago, the rejection on the point of control. A long little scalp to the highs that was mentioned today. And this gave you a shorting option as well. I've seen this so many times on the chart, guys. I've seen it so many times. I'm already in a short position, but I've seen it so many times, this development. And if this pumps here, this is an ABC flat, and eventually you're looking at a wave 1, 2, and 3, or an A, B, and C. I've seen it so many times, and this is just with the inflation news. It's a perfect pump and dump. Pump and then dump down. I've seen this kind of formation too many times where you have the classic bull flag and you break out and you pump and you get down. It's just the classic trap for retail. I mean, I have my doubts eventually, as always. You never know, but I've seen it before, and I've seen it. It's the main thing that happens. It's usually the main thing that happens. So yeah. Let's go through the comment section. Be bullish. Next car. Yeah. Double bottom on 5 minutes. 9 stop loss in a row. My man. Guys, if you are trading like this, if I'm lucky, I'll take 5 trades in a week. I might take 2. I might take 3. I might take 5. You just need to get into the highest probability trade, guys. It's the only thing that you need to do. There's massive education, guys. You know, we do have the Discord where we update videos, possible scenarios, good risk management, right? You have the modules, you have Elliott wave theory, you have harmonics, you have point of controls, how to, you know, structure a trade. You got daily updates from myself and the coaches, Devil, Dylan, Mattia, which is specialized on launched altcoins, you know, getting into some epic shorts. Mattia, my goodness. He's talked about 11 short trades that have all gone in a profit, all of them. 11 trades out of 11, all in the green, shorting, you know, these different launches. Anyway, you do have the guidance here as well, guys. Lots of people have questions, thinks that trading is a scam. You know, it doesn't work. It's not possible. If you only follow the plans that you make with good risk management, you will end up making money. It's inevitable, but you need to control your emotions, your risk management, and only trade the plans that you create. If you want to take your trading to the next level, you have the Legends Trading community, guys. It is the 4th link down below. And we always want to try and outstand from the rest, right? Everybody wants to outstand from the rest. You know, for me, it's the mission to try and, you know, and be the best, right? Try and be the best at mentoring, at educating, have the modules very clear. Of course, there's thousands of people out there that, you know, can show you all different type of indicators and rest of it. I'll show you what works for me. And, you know, eventually if you want to learn and you want the guidance, you have the Legends community, which is the 4th link down below, guys, right? If you want to learn and take, you know, your trading to the next level and start doing it yourself instead of following, you know, dozens or hundreds of people and different opinions, you know, everything's on the chart and you can read the market very, very well when you understand it and know where the opportunities lie, right? For me, the clearest one right now would be if we do maintain a higher low here. Like I said, you know, for me, the clearest one is either swing failure pattern from this pivot or the 7/8 Fibonacci. And not because it's a good level and it's a good liquidity grab. It's because the way the market is moving up to this zone, I realize there could be one more push up. There could be one more push up. And that push up eventually, where, you know, the best levels is here, right? So Bitcoin really holding this range, and like I said, a clear explanation on if the price does bounce from here and you say, oh, I missed a long position from the lows, right? Well, it doesn't matter. You know, this is a dangerous zone. You got this huge candlestick, which is like you're holding the last zone of support. It's dangerous. It's dangerous zone. You know, how can you put a stop loss here? How are you going to manage risk? It's just not going to work. It's not going to work. So if it's not going to work, you're not getting into the trade. So the clearest thing that you would want to see is a sign of strength. Get the price pumping, you know, get the price leaving this downtrend. This pump should get some kind of retracement in a 3-wave structure, kind of structure. And most commonly it's in between 50% and 7/8 for the wave 2. Then you're looking for a 3rd wave, finally claim the highs, you know, and continue a little bit of the uptrend. So you just wait for the sign of strength, which would be this one, right? When you realize there's a danger area, you realize it could bounce. So yeah, I don't want to short down here. You know, this is like the last line in the sand. It could bounce. I don't want to short. Because I think, you know, the price could bounce. And I do not want to long because it's choppy. I'm not sure where to put stop loss. You get the deal, right? So it becomes a no trade zone for me. Anyway, just giving you a few examples here on you know, when the decisions, right? When to take the decisions. It's important, guys. It's very important. EU passed tariffs on the USA. Okay. Would you short or long right now if you had to do? Yeah, nothing. I am long since 76K. I just hope we keep it above 80K. Yeah, that's awesome. I think it's depending on your style of trading, right? Because I day trade mainly, right? I mainly hold a position for 1, 2, 3 days max. A week is rare. Having a trade open for a week is rare. But lots of people do kind of get into swing shorts, right? They short from higher or wherever, and maybe they long from lower, and they kind of hedge. They have a short from here and a long from here, and I guess you take profits from the shorts and take profit from the longs, right? It depends on what time frame you trade. But if you're in a long from 76K, you know, this is big resistance and we are downtrending. So I guess you are hoping for a full-on reversal. You're hoping for a reversal of this downtrend, and we are coming into resistance. I hope that, you know, this would be a take profit zone without a doubt. If you long from here, from the last few days, this is without a doubt a zone of resistance in a downtrend. So you need to take profit. You know, right now you are hoping that we do hold above 80K, and you hope that we do break out in an expanding 5th wave or whatever, right? you're kind of hoping for that price action, and you're at resistance. You need to be strong and say, I need to take some profits from my longs down here in this heavy multi-monthly downtrend, and we are at a big level of resistance. Could we break it? Maybe. Could we not break it? Also very possible. So, if you have these questions, you just need to take profit, right? You just, right? So you need to collect profit here in a downtrend at resistance. It's just, but you could leave some open, definitely leave some open. You might have just catched the bottom for the next coming months, right? You will get a full-on reversal. We head to 90K. We double bottomed up now, says next car. Okay, very possible. We formed a local double bottom. We double bottomed here, up from now. Yeah. I don't know. The danger as well of this, from the bearish case scenario that I explained here, legends, is if this count is valid, one that I mentioned, this one, if this count is a valid count for a start of a C wave or a third wave, you move down in your first wave right now. So the bounce could be your wave 2, and then it's 3, 4, 5, right? If this is a valid count, then we've only started the first wave of the large wave, right? It's like saying we started this wave. We've only started the first wave down. So, we formed a little bit of a 5-waver here. Maybe a bounce here is very possible. Yeah, it is. It does look very 5-wavy, so a possible bounce here. It could be a double 1-2 as well. It's just not for me, it's not a good area to speculate on a long. You're starting your first wave from a possible large wave down. It's just not I want to see a big move up, then correct, and then I'll be interested in the long, right? Here is like a big no-no. I ain't doing nothing here for longs. Or for shorts, which is not really a trade zone. Not a trade zone. For me. Crypto can't go up anymore. Knockstars TV. We got somebody very bearish. Very, very bearish. We are downtrending. We cannot... isn't it? Yesterday was wave 1 up. Yesterday was wave 1 up. Yeah, you could say that. You could say the problem is here. Look at this. You formed the low here, you formed a higher low, and you have this. And right now you're already overlapping this pivot. It's like, wow, it does not look strong. It does not look strong on the higher time frame. If this would have been an independent wave from the lows, then I would have said, yeah, this might be your wave 1, right? And you still haven't finished it, right? You got wave 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 and 5. If you didn't have this higher low, which is forming a 3-wave structure, and you initiate this movement from the low, if this would have formed a low and we got this, then I would have said, yeah, this looks pretty damn good for a wave 1, and we continue to the upside in a wave 3 later on. But as we do have this being the low and this higher low right over here, your wave doesn't start from here. It starts from here. And if it starts from here, this is what you got. You got a 3-wave move up that is, not doing too well at the moment. And it's, already overlapping here. For this to be, this has to be a wave 3, literally, right? Not too convinced. Anything can happen at the end of the day. And we might fly to $100,000. But with the analysis, it's not, this is not your wave one. This is not your wave one because you have a higher low here. This has to be your wave one. This has to be your two, and this has to be your three. And three should really rock it. Three should really take over. There is the chance that you form an expanding fifth wave, and that's going to help out here for this third wave. Best case scenario is your wave 5 is an expanding move. I have to say, expanding moves on your wave 5 is extremely rare, so you wouldn't give it the highest probability anyway. So, but then this would be looking good for a wave 3. When 1, 2, and 3, and thanks to your wave 5, we had an explosive breakout. It is possible, It is possible, but it is rare. It is rare to see expanding fifth waves. But that's how you would have to speculate from the lows. This is not a wave 1. It has to be your wave 3 because your wave 1 is this one from the low. Higher low. Right? I hope that makes sense. Support is here. Yeah, we are getting a bit of support. As mentioned, guys, I need a clear move up. I need a clear 5-wave move up. And unfortunately, we have a clear 5-wave move down. So this bounce is going to be risky, guys. Some people might say, this is it. We're bouncing. It is possible. It is possible, but this is what I need to see. I need to see something like this. If we do create this, taking out the high or almost taking out the high, the retracement is going to be looking very, very, very interesting to push back up. This is going to be an interesting move if we get up there. But for the moment, just look at how we move down. Like this, sideways, and like this. For the moment, what we do have here is discount. And from this lower high to this low, let's just, entertain the 5-wave move down. So yeah, without a doubt, after a 5-wave move, you are going to get a nice bounce possibly. Right? Claiming above the 4th wave. But for me, it's still looking quite 5-wavy. You're going to get an exciting bounce here that I would not trust. For me to trust this bounce, we need to do this. And then I would say, this is solid, guys. Now we have a high chance that we do claim this high. And I'm interested in the higher low at 50% to the 7/8 Fibonacci, right? Bullish CVDs, we're in the game. But with a 5-wave move down from here, looking at this structure, this could be the initial stage of a larger move down. So let's get that pump, and then I might jump in later on. I might join the party later, guys. Whoever joined, whoever got into a long at the low here, I can only say good luck, and I might join the party later on once I see a sign of strength, right? And I have a little bit of higher probability that we are going to reverse and we are going to, push up strongly. I need the first wave, get close to this high, and I'll join the party later on, guys. Whoever's long in here with this possibility and this 5-wave move down, I can only say good luck. It might happen, right? It might. But I can only give you luck here, right? Because it's just not a high probability long that I would get in from here. I mean, you are holding this, the base, okay? It is support. It is support. It is support. It is the first higher lows after this pump. You do not want to lose this zone because this candlestick is massive, and it would be like the perfect scenario. You got your wave 1, wave 2, wave 3. Your wave 3 is just crossing the entire pump from yesterday. Would be very, very, very classic to see that kind of thing. Let's go right away through the comment section, and you know, we will be wrapping this up maybe in the next coming minutes. Keep an eye on the dollar index. Dollar index has been dropping down. You know, this has usually been good for Bitcoin. So yeah, dollar index is collapsing down. Maybe Bitcoin is going to be the saver. We do form that wave 4 and we start pumping. Okay. Just to note, guys, a wave 4 here is still possible. It's still very much a possibility. You know, I'm not saying that it's not possible. It's still very, very possible that we do have an attempt in getting to 83, 84, 85 between today and tomorrow. It is possible. But the bearish case scenario is also very, very possible. So I'm already in a short position from this pivot, guys. You know, this is like, got into a little long scalp today, short from here. Yeah. Long's a little bit risky. I might join into a long later on. Once we get a sign of strength, then I would jump into the long later. Once we see a little bit of a reversal of this downtrend. But yeah, that's basically a little bit of the plan that I want to explain here. When is CPI? We did have the inflation rate already out today, and it was lower than expected. 2.4%. Inflation is under control by the looks of things. It is, as promised, right? As promised from Jerome Powell, we will get inflation down to 2%. Core inflation is 2.8, so still there, still a little bit here. A lot to learn. Appreciate your work, Andy. Much love. Thank you very much, my man. I do put many hours. For over 7 years right now, I've been putting several hours a day and learning technical analysis, different tools, the ones that work, ones that don't work, you know. And I'm just sharing a little bit of the knowledge here that I do have on YouTube. Just a random dude, no financial advice. CPI backwards looking, tariffs is inflationary. Yes, it is. Very true. Tariffs is inflationary. Much love, breadcrumbs. What's your timing to come online? This is the kind of main time to do live streams. It's in between 4 and 6 UAE time. Don't forget that is minus the food and energy sectors. Very true. Also, Gringo. We're not going through the politics size, but of what's happening. But yeah, there's so many things that are interfering right now worldwide. It's crazy. Thank you for the knowledge, Andy. Alex, you're very much welcome. Harry Beaver, you're funny. What's Harry Beaver saying? Andy, please help. I'm long from 84K. I'm close to being liquidated. I borrowed money from Albanians from the area. They want their money back. They have baseball bats. What do I do? Please help, Andy. That's actually a very good comment. Hopefully that nobody does nothing like that, right? Start small, start learning first of all. Demo count really, you know, you need to really trade a bit of money, a little bit, so you get the feeling of losing a little bit as well, right? And managing risk. Dubai Whale has joined for long position. Watch the chart. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah. Let's go. We are getting a nice little pump. Nice little pump. We need to break this structure. We need to really break this structure. This needs to get heavy right now and get a big fat pump, and then I might be interested in joining in. Then I might be interested in joining the long. Okay. For now, my eyes are bleeding right now because of this. You know, you got a bit of a 5-wave move down here. When I zoom out and I understand this structure, we got a little bit of a, you know, this is possible. So this pump needs to do a lot of work here, which might be doing it now. We need a lot of work here. And it's going to be looking interesting. Yeah, we are getting that little nice pump. I mean, this is what you kind of expect. After a 5-wave move down, you expect a bounce to claim the 4th wave. Now the question is, can we change this structure and, you know, get close to these highs? And that will be very interesting. This would be very, very interesting. For the moment, the leading moves are, you know, are down. So this is going to be the decision moment to realize it, you know, if, you know, this might be the ABC. When you take a look at this structure that I explained, this could be A, B, and C, right? Take this off. I'm going to put 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝗽𝗍𝗍 right there, orange. This might be the thing here. This might be the thing. I want to see more information. We need a pump. We need to pump strongly, start claiming the lower highs, pivot low here to the pivot high. The 382 is the one that did hold like a boss. Look at this. 382, baby, is what is holding. Common zone for your 4th wave. Maybe this is it. Maybe this is it. When you do analyze this this movement down, obviously your C waves are usually a little bit more aggressive than your A waves, but it's a valid count. It's a valid count for a bottom. Let's see if the bulls can prove themselves with a nice impulse, and then we are possibly looking for the highs to be taken. We can long later on. You have a 5-wave move down. From the start, you have a flat structure, which was predictable. This is where we got into a long scalp in the Legends trading community. This is the exact structure, looking for the highs to be swept for this ABC flat. And now, interestingly enough, we do have a 5-wave move down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's what you want to see in your C wave. So, yeah, it's possible. It's possible that this has been your ABC. It's possible, yeah. It's also possible that this is a 1, 2, 3. And this is your first wave 1, and you're forming your wave 2 right now. And what comes next is not going to be nice at all, guys. Will not be nice. What comes next is not nice. So when you realize that you have your doubts, your best option is to see a strong move to the upside in 5 waves. Get the strong move up in 5 waves. And then the pullback will be very interesting to analyze at the 50% to the 7/8 Fibonacci from the low to the high. You realize you're breaking structure. You realize that this could have been it. And you realize that you have a 5th wave that could be on the formation, and you want to, you know, form, you know, you want to be you want to participate, right, in the 5th wave. You know, you want to be in this wave. But you want to see a sign of strength first. And the sign of strength is exactly this. This is your exact sign of strength. And the correction is what you are going to be analyzing very carefully with a 3-wave move down, higher lows, CVD divergence, right? So maybe all of this is not the ABC, and it's actually something worse. 1, 2, 3. or your C wave is not finished, you form a contracting move. Boom, boom. That's going to be interesting. You know, this would be actually very interesting. If you bounce, you claim the lows, you bounce again, you claim the lows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You form a bit of a contracting move. That's maybe it. This is too short in time. It's very shallow. So you would give it a little bit of more timing here to be more symmetrical. So a contracting move, if you start chopping and double bottoming here and form 5 waves in a contracting move, guys, maybe this is it. If you hold on and you do not break down from this area, if you were to chop, right, in a 5-wave contracting move, this could be the moment that it does so. So the second double bottom will be interesting. That's if you do get this formation, right? And this is where you want to analyze the long position on the second double bottom here. Just some ideas, guys. If this ABC were to be the one, you really need to come up with the ideas of what could happen next, right? This could happen next, this could happen next, this could happen, this could happen. Now with this move, this could happen. So till you actually come to the formation of what could happen, and this is a little bounce of $1,000 that it's a day trade, right? With today's analysis, I realized that this movement could happen, which is literally this one right over here, right? The ABC. This is exactly the breakout from here. This trading setup is this one. This trading setup is this one right over here. So I needed all of this information to realize that there is a high probability in sweeping up the highs here, which is your take profit. Anyway, so guys, thank you very much for joining. Much love to everybody. Trade safe. Let's see if we do get that sign of strength. It is possible. There is a possibility. Let's give it a chance. Remember that you do get incredible bonus on weeks, guys. 50% deposit bonus, $1,000 maximum. If you deposit 2K, you transfer it to your futures account in 48 to 72 hours. You're getting that airdrop of 50%. You got more capital for your trading. And you also get 25% fee reduction, guys, with the second link down below. Take advantage. On weeks, you can also sign up with an email and a password. That's it, right? And take advantage because you get that 25% fee reduction and the 50% deposit bonus. Legends, thank you very much for joining, smashing up the like button. There's a few scenarios that we're looking at here on Bitcoin. Trade safe. Much love to everybody, and I'll see you tomorrow.